mean, don't even know how chickens are born. They just put them in an incubator, Becca, but they took them eggs from, chickens outside and raised them in there in an incubator.
What's the difference between an incubator and a heat light? My daddy's got a heat light. Why can't you just take the egg and put it in there?
You can't do that with a heat light, Becca. You got to put them in an incubator.
But if I had an incubator, could I put a chicken egg in there and I could have chickens?
If they were fertile eggs, yeah.
How do you make fertile eggs?
You got to go up there and get them out of the nest from a chicken that has been hit by a rooster.
We have a rooster. I got hit by him. He about broke my leg.
But that don't mean he's fertilizing them, Becca.
Well, what's he doing with them? Why do we need a rooster?
Well, because you got to have fertile eggs, but you could take them eggs and put them in an incubator, but you can't just take eggs that's been laying out on the counter in there or in a
I'm talking about if after you get an egg out from underneath a chicken that just hatched it.
You could put them in an incubator and hatch them.
Well, you just made fun of me like I didn't know what the hell I was talking about. If a chicken lays an egg, they turn into birds.
You said to begin with, Becca, why can't I just take an egg and put it in there?
Put it in where?
In an incubator and not
Well, yeah.
Why do I have to buy chickens? Well, you don't have to. You can raise your own chickens, but you got to have chickens first.
Well, I was talking about my daddy's chickens to get one of his that he get some eggs that he laid and take them and put them in underneath the heat lamp.
You can't just put
I
them
know,
under a heat
you told
lamp
me I got to get an incubator.
have an incubator.
But why'd you act like I was so stupid?
Well, because you are.
Why?
Because you just don't know nothing about nothing, man.
What?
I mean, you really don't, man.
I'm not your man either.
Well, somebody has to tell you everything. You don't know anything, Becca.
Why don't I know anything? I don't know anything.
Because you make fun of somebody like me that does know a lot of stuff.
Oh, I do not.
Yeah,
I
you
say
do,
you're
man.
the smartest man in the world, but you don't have no damn business knowing what the capitals is to countries that we ain't never heard of. Let alone for me to tell you the country and say, hey, Doug, give me the capital to this if you're too smart.
Becca, I paid attention when I was in school, so don't fault me
You
for that.
didn't learn all that from school.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did, Becca.
How many of you treasures knows the capitals to countries that I can't even pronounce?
That's because a lot of these schools don't teach that anymore, Becca. I mean, that's what social studies was. Learning about countries, learning about what their gross domestic product was, what they, what stuff that they produced. Did they raise cotton? They raised tobacco. They raised, cows. They raised wheat. Or they have mines. Copper mines and gold mines, and they have industries. Making steel, and you learn all about that kind of stuff. Where they were at, what their capitals were, and you had to write book reports on that stuff. But they don't do that anymore. That's the reason we got the most ignorant, dumb people in the world over here now instead of the smartest people in the world. I mean, they've done a good job at dumbing down people. And you don't learn that stuff because you're probably going to use it. It's to exercise your mind. Your mind is like your body. You have to exercise it.
Well, why don't
exercise it by learning new things?
I learned something new last night or early this morning. I learned that a raccoon can get through that. Yeah, can keep me up all night, but can get through that little space at the end over here where the garden is. Mm-hmm. That's how he comes in and out. He didn't go underneath or come up the steps. When he left, he went out out there. They can, Becca, and they can climb too. They climb trees. So they could climb over that fence if they wanted to climb over it. If there wasn't no way to get around through it. Well, and he asked me
before. I told you that wasn't, that gap between there needed to be closed up, and at the bottom of that fence needed to be staked down.
And out here by the steps needs to be closed off.
Yeah, because you can't keep rabbits and stuff out of there. If there's rabbits around, the deer, if you get it staked down good and all that, they're not going to come over that. but you know, rabbits can get through there. A groundhog, and a groundhog will eat your stuff up too, man.
I have never seen a groundhog here yet.
Yeah, well, that don't mean they ain't around.
Well, anyways, the raccoon asked me if you could bring him a ribeye steak. He's getting tired of crackers.
Yeah, well, I might bring him a can of Viennas. Bring him a ribeye. I don't even get ribeye.
Who does? I couldn't get over it when he was pecking on the door last night. And I know he's not like the baby girl was. It ain't the same one. Because he had a boy's face. They look totally different. Did you compare the two?
No,
I did. I had to find out if it was the same one. Because if it was, that one sure lost a lot of weight.
She just probably said, look, I done got my belly full. You go on over and get yours full. I mean, they learn, and I mean, they tell each other, man. Because, I mean, you ever watch that guy that's got all them coons coming up around? I mean, like 30 or 40 of them, man.
Oh, my
and
gosh.
he feeds them hot dogs.
Yeah, I know. I watch him.
Well, you know, they go out there and say, hey, man, come on, man. We're going up here and have a party.
Yeah, one of the treasures said their favorites are marshmallows, and they love hot dogs, too, and they'll eat kitty food and dog food.
Yeah.
Now, since we're talking and we're having another Let's Make Fun of Becca Day, that I'm so stupid. I'm the stupidest person in the world. Is that what you said? You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
I didn't say you was the stupidest person in the world. I just said you was stupid because you always asking questions about stuff for somebody that lived up here.
Doug, the reason I ask that is because I know that I can have a chicken with an egg. I can hatch a chicken with an egg.
You need to stop hollering before you get zacked up and started.
Well,
and before I leave. Because I'm not going to.
I don't know how else you'd have a chicken without an egg.
The way you ask it, Becca, can't I just take an egg and hatch an egg? Well, you can't unless you got chickens to get the egg from.
I got chickens. I bought 8 chickens.
Why would you do that? Why not just let the hens set them and hatch them? And
because
then they can take care of them.
So is that what you can do? If you leave the egg where it's at and the chicken just sits on it long enough, it's going to bust out?
That's right, Becca.
Well, then why do we take the chickens instead of buying chickens? Why do we take the eggs? Why don't we just leave the eggs there and let the chickens hatch?
Don't ask me. Ask your daddy. He's the one that's raising them.
Huh.
And it may be because,
he likes his chickens big, so not needs them.
Well, that's probably a lot of it. If they're real little like that with the mama, I mean, the mama will be defensive of them now. Don't get me wrong. She'll raise a fuss if something comes around them, but, they're so small that they can get out of anything, man. I mean, they find a little tiny gap in something and they'll be right out of it.
Okay, now, before we end this, apologize.
What, calling you stupid?
Yes.
Well, Becca.
And look at the camera if you're going to be rude to somebody.
Well, I'm sorry, Becca, but
But you're not sorry.
We'll stop acting stupid.
I don't act stupid.
Yeah, you kind of do.
No, I don't.
Yeah, because you don't, you just don't do anything to try to learn, Becca. I mean,
I learn what I need to know. If I don't need to know it.
The simplest stuff, man. I mean, that anybody that lived somewhere like this here, out in the middle of nowhere, where everybody's got farms and raises animals and got gardens, and your daddy had animals and had a garden and all that stuff.
And I'm so stupid because I said, why can't you have a chicken with an egg?
You never tried to learn any of it, Becca. You never tried. The only thing you wanted to do was stand around
thank you very kindly.
Tramp and be
I
pretty.
did work in the hayfields. I stuck my hand up a pig's butt to save babies. So who are you to tell me that I don't know what I'm doing?
Well,
that baby lived.
Because you always, somebody's always got to tell you everything.
So
and you probably just done that with your daddy right there telling you what to do.
No, my daddy wasn't even there. He had to run up. Okay, well, that's it for this season day for Make Fun of Becca. I love you, treasures, and we will see you on the next one. And remember, you're all beautiful. What you got to say there? I know you want to say something. Mouth. Go ahead. Keep on talking. I'm going to knock that dent right off the end of your nose.
A bonehead Becca.
So, you're bald.
Yeah, that's right.